Hello, welcome to the Hoop Collective podcast. We talk about the NBA, which we're doing on Tuesday afternoon/evening. Joining us from New York City, where his infant son has just crawled for the first time, thus delaying the start of the podcast, Tim Bontemps.
Hello, everybody.
He'll be crawling all over the place. It won't be novel in about 36 hours. Joining us from Los Angeles, California, where he attended the Lakers versus Suns game on Monday, where the Suns broke the Lakers' 7-game winning streak, is Ben MacMahon.
Howdy, partners. Reunited with old Dillon the villain.
Oh, yes.
He definitely enjoyed his night at Crypto.com Arena.
The only person happier than Dillon Brooks last night was MacMahon, who saw the story coming during the game and knew he would just have to stand there and hold the recorder out for about 5 minutes. Just put it on the page. It was all going to be set.
You know, you and Dillon have had your moments
in this very arena.
Yes. Was Poke the Bear in Staples Center?
No, Poke the Bear wasn't, but I ain't talking repeatedly sure was. And, you know, that's why like playing in that arena means a lot to Dillon Brooks, because the worst moments of his professional career came in that arena when he made himself a story and he didn't back up his talking, and he was pretty publicly humiliated. And, you know, he's public enemy number one in that arena to this day, you know, a couple teams later. But he backed up all his talk last night, did a lot of talking and a lot of hooping.
Is it fair, Brian, to call MacMahon and Dillon Brooks kindred spirits? Is that a fair
it's
comment?
It's like Howard Cosell and Muhammad Ali.
I think we might be lifting both of them up a little bit with that one, but I would call them kindred spirits at least.
Thank you for picking up what I was saying.
Well, the other day you did lift MacMahon up to the heights of like Walter Cronkite as a journalist.
Well,
so I don't know. Maybe you are being serious and putting him on that level. I
don't think MacMahon's deft questioning was needed on this night. But
no.
I will say this:
what was needed was to find the record button.
I have seen many impressive pieces of jewelry in NBA locker rooms in my time. But Dillon's gigantic DB necklace, which looked on television like it was covered in real jewels, that was up there, MacMahon.
It was up there.
He's had that one for a minute.
The biggest post-game surprise was that the glasses he put on were not shades. They were just regular old glasses. I mean, that is Dillon's standard move. Man, maybe he's growing older and wiser, but he used to always be a shades guy post game for sure. But he had some bling.
Yeah, so he had 33 points. By the way, he is averaging now. He is not shooting efficiently from three. He's never taken more threes, and he's never been worse on his threes. But they seem to be okay with it in Phoenix because of injuries elsewhere that they've had. No Jalen Green. Grayson Allen has been out for huge chunks of the season. Now Devin Booker hurt his groin. We don't have an update on that, but that doesn't seem like it's a good sign for Phoenix. He's averaging 8 more points a game this year, MacMahon, and hoisting. So he got 33, but more importantly, he was part of the defense that smothered the Lakers. Really, Austin Reaves had one of his worst games of the year. LeBron extended his double scoring digit streak by the skin of his teeth. Luka had 38, but it was not a good game by Luka standards. The Suns going from 27th in the league in defense to 13th, which is a huge move for them, and one that not everybody expected, but Matt Ishbia did. But Dillon, had his moment. He won this battle.
Well, and he's having a season so far. The guy's averaging 22.3 points, and no, he's not shooting the three well, but he's shooting the two at over 57%. He's become like this mid-range master. Now, we'll see if that sustains, but I guarantee you what will sustain is this relentless energy, and he's going to get in people's face. He's going to pressure people defensively. He's going to set a physical kind of snarling, play hard type of tone. And look, man, that series that we're talking about when the Grizzlies got humiliated and it was his last moments in a Memphis uniform, and for a variety of reasons, things had run its course with Dillon, and I thought it was insane the contract the Rockets gave him after that. I thought Dillon Brooks was a guy that you wouldn't want on your team. I've got to give this guy a ton of credit, because let me tell you, he was a huge part of creating the culture that they have in Houston. Him and Fred VanVleet, bringing those guys in, that toughness, and frankly, the work ethic. And he really helped, and they would take him back in Houston in a heartbeat. They love him in Houston. Actually, their next game's in Houston, and I'm telling you, he's going to be showered with love from the crowd.
4 years, $86 million, by the way, that deal you're talking about.
I didn't like the deal at the time either. He's definitely lived up to it.
He was worth every penny of it. And the same way that he was able to help establish that kind of tough, hardworking culture in Houston, he's doing the same thing for Phoenix. He has been, dude, this is a team that needed a cultural reset in the worst way. And I'm telling you, these guys, it's Devin Booker's franchise, right? We understand that. These guys are also following Dillon Brooks. Those are the two leaders of this team. And the scoring stuff is I'm going to say it's even a bonus. Now, last night they needed it because unfortunately Devin Booker had a groin strain in the first quarter and didn't play the rest of the game. But listen, Dillon Brooks talking trash after every shot, going back and forth with fans. He's barking at celebrities. I don't even know if he knew who they were. I didn't. So, but, and then doing all the histrionics, mimicking the LeBron shoulder shrug while staring him down after a dunk. And I mean, it was
we showed the quote unquote highlight on NBA Today where JJ Redick was trying to shout instructions to LeBron, and LeBron was over yapping with Dillon was on the bench. LeBron was completely distracted, yapping at him on the bench.
Yeah, and Dillon took such delight in getting under LeBron's skin. And he said, he likes people that bow down. I don't bow down. Dillon, he's entertaining as hell. If he's on your team, you love him, except for Grizzlies management certainly didn't at the end. If he's not on your team, you probably despise him. But if you're impartial, you're at least entertained.
Well, look, there's been sort of this class of LeBron antagonist over the years: Deshaun Stevenson, Lance Stevenson. Dillon Brooks is a better player than those two guys. Yeah. But LeBron has seen these types of guys come and go who take it. He's Joakim Noah. That wasn't quite the same because Joe didn't guard LeBron,
mm-hmm.
but Joe he had the same thing. There were moments where Joakim and LeBron would get into yapping matches at the foul line, or when Joakim was on the bench and LeBron was on the court. Like guys who've been retired for a decade plus, have had these things with him. So it's a long line. But look, like sometimes it's very hard to beat LeBron head to head. And if you feel like occasionally you can get to him, 5% of the time, maybe it's not the worst strategy. LeBron did not have a good night, Bontemps. For the first time really this season, I felt like LeBron looked his age, or maybe not his age, but he looked like an older NBA player as opposed
mm-hmm.
to what we saw. I actually felt he's moved okay this season. This game, he had no rebounds, no steals, no blocks, which is the first time that's happened in his career. And you could, 10 points in 31 minutes. He was not himself.
No, I'm real quick on the Suns. Colin Gillespie has been an unbelievable story.
Dillon Jr.
Shooting 44% from three. He had 8 threes in that game last night. He has turned himself into a starting point guard. He's going to be an interesting guy to see how much money he gets as a free agent next summer. But he has been an unbelievable story.
Excuse me, by the way, Colin Gillespie is NBA champion.
He is?
Well, true. And he was in Denver, and Denver didn't retain him, and he wound up in Phoenix. By the way, he certainly would help the Nuggets. I almost said
it is
Rockies,
interesting that the Nuggets, who could use guys exactly like that, minimum level guys who can play rotation minutes, they drafted Jaden Pickett and have sort of wanted to give that role to him, and Gillespie left. But Gillespie was on the roster for Denver's title team 2 years ago.
The guy you asked about last night, Jay Huff, I believe, was also at one point. He was definitely with the Lakers at one point. I believe he might have also been with Denver. But be that as it may, on the LeBron side of things, last night was the first time I'd had a chance to sit and watch him play this season since he's come back. I'd seen little brief highlights before that. I was pretty taken aback at how old he looked on the court. And he didn't look like he ever ran at any point in the game. Look, he was mostly just jogging. And I thought the moment of the night, frankly, was Dillon Brooks goes up for a layup. LeBron loads up to come flying in and do his patented block off the backboard. And it looked like he had a parachute attached to the back of him. And he just didn't get there in time. And Dillon Brooks laid it in. And the announcing team, Jackson's old Syracuse pal, Noah Eagle, and those guys were like, oh, how did Dillon Brooks make this shot? And he made the shot because LeBron couldn't get there. And it was a pretty stark reminder of, like, this guy is 41 years old in a couple of weeks, and he's dealing with a back problem. And he looked like somebody who's dealing with a back problem.
Well, he missed Sunday's game technically with a foot issue.
Yeah.
He missed it because it was a half of a back-to-back, and they wanted to have him ready. Well, by the way, they had him ready for the second half of the back-to-back, and he looked like he played in the first half of the back-to-back. I mean, again, the box score says all you need to know. No rebounds, no steals, no blocks. Was not really close to getting any of them. And we were texting about it. MacMahon was at the game. That was a real effort to get to 10 points.
And he got 10 points and went and sat down.
And got out pretty much right away.
But
it was a labored effort to get there in the fourth quarter when the game was long over, which, again, is also not something we're used to seeing. Now, again, LeBron is coming off a back issue. He's about to be 41. He didn't have a training camp. He hasn't really worked out in a couple of months. Perhaps his body will round into form, and in a month we'll be talking about LeBron back to having 25, 8, and 8 and looking like LeBron again. But we've looked around the league, and whether it's Chris Paul or Al Horford in Golden State or Brook Lopez with the Clippers also, like some of these guys this year with the way the league is going and how fast and up and down the game is and how much youth and athleticism and speed is in the game, we've seen a lot of these guys look old very fast. And I think if you're the Lakers, you have to have some concern that LeBron looks this old and this slow, even though it's early on in the return.
Maybe. He has not
I'm not saying it's permanently
bad,
but I think you have to be concerned.
I just think that this game was the Lakers' third game in 4 nights, and they were playing a team that specializes in athleticism and speed. They're pressuring the ball full court. I take nothing away from the Suns, but the table was set for the Lakers to look a little bit off in this game.
And, there's another thing here. This was Luka had 20 points in the first quarter, and he's done that a lot. I need to ask some of our stats gurus what his record is when he scores 20 in the first quarter, because this was a classic. I think Luka probably ran out of gas. Nobody else got in a rhythm. And it's like Luka's going bonkers in the first quarter. He took 11 shots in the first quarter and had only 1 assist. And so it's like, okay, go ahead, tire yourself out. None of your teammates are going to feel like they're in any kind of the flow of the game. And LeBron never got in any sort of flow of the game.
That's what Muhammad Ali used to do, again, just like Dillon Brooks.
Yeah, the rope-a-dope.
Yes. Well, the other thing, too, it's only 5 games. And yes, obviously last night they got smacked by Phoenix, so the numbers are going to be a little twisted. But 91 minutes in 5 games, Luka, Austin, and LeBron together getting outscored by 9 points per 100 possessions, defensive rating of 120.6. That would rank 28th in the league, ahead of only Brooklyn and Washington. Now, sure, Laker fans are yelling, saying they're 4-1 in the games. Those guys, LeBron's working his way back. Why are you harping on the number? Okay, fine. Last year, those 3 guys on the court had a defensive rating of 117.7. Across the course of the season, that would rank 27th, ahead of Brooklyn, Washington, and Utah, who obviously was not doing a lot of attempting to winning games last year. So if the Lakers now, over a pretty good sample size with those 3 guys on the court together, have not been able to guard anybody. And if you're trying to make the case that the Lakers are a championship contending team, which I would not, because I think there's one championship contending team, but set that aside, they have to be able to guard better with those 3 guys on the court. And if LeBron is looking anything like he did last night, I don't see how in any world this team is going to be able to guard like that, particularly with the other defensive guys they have on the roster.
Yeah, one thing you got to do to guard is to actually cross half court on defensive possessions. If you never get out of the backcourt, it's really tough to guard. And LeBron doesn't get out of the backcourt on a fair amount of possessions per game.
We've talked about this. The Lakers, big picture advanced stats are not reflective of a team with a record this good. They're 18th in defense. And when you look at their net rating, which is sort of the mother stat, it shows relative to opponents, they're almost in the same spot as Atlanta, Phoenix, Cleveland, Boston. Those teams are all 13-9 or 11-9. Mm-hmm. The Lakers are 15-5. So on one hand, I think they've made the most out of their opportunities, and they've done a great job to go 15-5. On the other hand, you do need, some improvement defensively, and those three guys to start being more efficient, which I think the sample size is too small to take anything away from it. But, and also Luka has the ability to overwhelm those things with some of the things he can do. So he's
not going to overwhelm on defense, though.
Guys, if you had told me in early October, and I admit I was a little bit anxious, a little bit excited about the start of the season. If you'd have told me after 21 games and asked me what the Clippers' record was, I would have said 16-5 was a lot more likely than 5-16.
No question.
Okay? And because they looked good in the preseason. I don't know what, you can say whatever you want. They looked good in the preseason.
I remember when Windhorst, who never makes predictions, MacMahon, came on the podcast and said Ivica Zubac is going to be an All-NBA player and was going on and on about the greatness of the Clippers.
I'm not going to kill him too much
game.
Because I flapped my gums. I remember going on TV and saying that the Clippers were clearly the best basketball team in LA.
Oh, me too. I was
we all thought the Clippers were going to be 100%. Pretty good.
So, all right. So, Monday night they're playing in Miami. They already are on a second East Coast trip in the last few weeks. And they give up 14 3-pointers in the first half to the Heat. Now the Heat are running hot offensively. Tyler Hero has come in, fit in seamlessly. Norm Powell with a, get back game, had a great game.
How'd they get him?
Bam Adebayo hit 5 threes in that game. Most he's ever hit in his career. He's proven he can shoot from deep. It's all going well. So anyway, they had 14 out of 21 threes in the first half. Okay. Ty Lue goes into the halftime. I assume might say something to the Clippers about their 3-point defense. I don't know for sure what he said, but I assume he said something. In the first 85 seconds of the third quarter, the Heat hit 3 more threes. 3. Ty calls timeout at the 10:30 mark and says, all you guys starting, you're on the bench. He pulls the starters all, okay? Sends in the second unit. First possession the Heat have.
Oh, no.
Another 3.
Was this part of the 30-2 run?
Listening.
Yeah. So
yes.
He did bring the starters back, with the exception of Harden. Harden never came back. And so, I mean, the Clippers were the number 3 defensive team in the league last year. It powered their season. They ended up going out in the first round in 7 to the Nuggets, but could have gone either way. They are 27th, MacMahon, in threes right now. And overall defense right now. Probably there in threes too. But speaking of bad defense, the number 30th ranked offense in the league, MacMahon's hometown Dallas Mavericks, came riding in to the Mile High City on Monday.
Fresh off of whooping the old Clippers in Aspiration Arena.
And how'd that number 30 ranked offense do in that game against the Nuggets?
Put up a cool 139 points. Something like that. I might have, maybe it was
131.
130.
And not Andrew. I said Andrew Nembhard. I just made a mistake too. Ryan Nembhard, younger brother of Andrew Nembhard, just went for what? A cool 28-10 and no turnovers in that
28
game?
28 and 10 on 12 of 14 shooting with
Pretty
0
good.
turnovers. It's literally like it. If you want to get on StatHead, you can punch in combinations. It's a pretty historic line. No rookie's gone for 25 and 10 with no turnovers since Stephon Marbury when I was a freshman in college, which was a long time ago.
Pretty good player.
And look, So there are some good things going. AD had a big game in that one. Certainly they need AD to play well. I think, if we're being real, to establish a market. Nembhard, though, has been starting at point guard for the last few games, and he's played well. I'm not going to say he's going to be the starter for the next 12 to 15 years, but I am going to tell you, I think he's got a chance to.
Why not 12 to 15 years? Why not?
I'm going to tell you, I think he's got a chance to establish himself as a solid rotation player.
He's got a chance to be his brother, and that's a really good player.
Yeah, he's a little bit smaller, but the Mavericks have got to hit on guys like that, an undrafted guy on a two-way contract, because we all know they've got this pick, and then they don't have their own pick again until 2031. So,
and him and Brandon Williams, that's a couple of nice, good young guards. Like, again, Brandon Williams isn't going to be a world beater, but like, that guy's an NBA player. Ryan Nembhard's an NBA player. Like, that's some good stuff on the margins for them in a spot where they desperately need some guys to be able to do some stuff with the ball.
And Cooper Flagg's playing really well. Had 35, youngest guy to get 35 ever against the Clippers, and had another, I think it was 24 against the Nuggets, 11 assists against the Lakers. Like, Cooper
How about
Flagg
this stat from Jackson? Ryan Nembhard, third Maverick in history to go for 26 points, 10 assists, 80% field goal percentage in a game. The other two are Jason Terry and Steve Nash.
Yeah, not bad.
Pretty good. Good.
But look, we just talked about how horrific the Clippers defense is, and I can confirm after watching, Cooper Flagg without Anthony Davis light him up. By the way, Klay Thompson's starting to. I'm not saying he's the Klay of old, better, but he's starting to knock down shots, and Klay's
ever since he
well.
revealed that he named his boat the Stallion.
Yeah. Well, hey, that was a game. He was ruled out in the first injury report of the day. Then he went out on the Stallion, took a ride on the Stallion, jumped in the ocean. No, seriously, he jumped in the ocean. Took a ride on the Stallion. Got wet, jumped in. And got out, toweled off, and decided, you know what, man? Hey, I feel good. As he says, you touch the earth, it kind of gives you energy. Came out that night. That dude had 17 points in the fourth quarter.
I'm not saying anything.
The guy had 17 in the fourth quarter against the Clippers, and I'm happy for Klay. It's been a rough ride in Dallas, but it's so fun to watch. I'm
going to skip right on by everything that just happened with MacMahon and that, and you. All I'm going to say is, if you...
I'm talking about Klay coming off the screens not even looking at the rim and just letting that thing go.
Yes, relax. We know. The watchers and listeners probably aren't thinking the same thing. I would say if you look at where the Mavericks are, and with Klay playing better, with Anthony Davis back, with Cooper playing the way he is, I do think it is going to be very interesting to see how they navigate the next couple of months. Because if they do play all these guys, they're going to be in the play-in, and they're not going to be down at the bottom.
About that. Well, but they won't be in the bottom five, and
the bar to clear to reach the play-in in the West is on the ground. So you don't have to be very good to get to 10.
These teams in the West, especially the ones that don't control their. So first off, there's going to be some teams in the West that are just going to flat out tank.
Yeah,
correct.
Okay, so these teams in the West that don't control their pick, like the Clippers and even the Pelicans. It might be too late for the Pelicans.
Now Zion's out for several weeks.
Oh my gosh! When Zion I assume Oxner Health is their medical partner. I assume there's some Oxner MRI facility near the Pelicans facility where they go. Like wherever the Pelicans players go to get MRIs. Do you think when Zion comes into the building that he's like Norm in Cheers and like he's high-fiving the guy at the door, he's high-fiving the nurses? Or
unfortunately, he probably knows everybody on first
like
name
Christmas
basis.
Cards? Because he's back in for another MRI on Tuesday. He's declared out for at least 3 weeks with an adductor strain.
Reevaluated in 3 weeks.
Oh my God.
So he's not back till 2026 sometime, for sure.
Anyways, before I started talking about the Stallion and jumping in the ocean and all that, I was going to say the Mavericks exploited an awful Clippers defense, and then fellas, they exploited it's in Inver, ain't no D. It is the Denver Nuggets right now. Fellas, and look, it sucks that Christian Brown went down, and then that especially Aaron got hurt. And Aaron, and they're both going to be out for a while. Gordon is a grade 2 hammy that's reevaluated in 4 to 6 weeks. In the 5 games since Aaron Gordon suffered that hamstring strain, they are first in offense, the Denver Nuggets, and dead last in defense. 127.3 points allowed per 100 possessions. With Gordon on the floor this year, 105 is the defensive rating. That would rank second in the league. When he's not on the floor, 119.4. And they got to figure it out because he's not going to be on the floor for a while.
Yeah, it's rough.
And the first, well, here's the other thing. When they're, and I've spent plenty of time praising the Joker this year, and rightly so. The first month of the season, they were number 3 in the league in defense. And I don't have their record up in front of me, but they had one of the best road records in the league, and that's because they defended.
Well, they better. They don't win at home anymore.
I would praise Joker up one side and down the other, but when you don't have good perimeter defense, he can't. He's not a basket defender. He's not going to defend the rim. And when you lose your good perimeter defense, they're a little bit vulnerable. So they were the first 15 games of the year, they were the number 3 defensive team ever since they've been 30th.
Yeah.
That's
it's concerning.
That's tough.
And Jamal Murray sprained his ankle last night. Don't know.
Yeah, we don't have the update on that. Hopefully that's not bad news. He did come back in for a little while, then he left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a new
month.
What are
we doing?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, what are we doing?
That means a month just ended.
Yeah.
That means it's time. MacMahon, take the floor.
It is time for the Cojones Factor Player of the Month and a half in this case, because we do lump in October with November. Now, fellas, this was actually a big-time buzzer-beater stretch. And we'll just start out. These are all going to be honorable mentions. There have been 6 game-winning buzzer-beaters so far this season. Can you name them?
No.
This is our daily exercise, our monthly exercise of figuring out what the
criteria.
We always got to mention the buzzer beaters, but 6
factor.
You guys can't name.
I remember there was 3 in one night. I don't remember who made them. If you say them, I'll remember.
Like Pascal Siakam, was that a buzzer beater?
Not a buzzer beater.
Did Cade make one?
Not a buzzer beater.
Oh. This is exciting for the audience. Just tell us.
Super exciting. Give us the list. You're gonna have a lot of people.
Vucevic, Andrew Wiggins. You remember the buzzer beating? It really was a Spoelstra buzzer beater with the backdoor lob.
Cavs corner.
Desmond Bane, Giannis with the one-legged fadeaway from like 16, 17 feet.
Dez was crazy.
Yeah, Dez, and that kind of really helped get the magic rolling.
Yeah, Kawhi,
I mean, the Clippers don't have many wins. You probably would remember that. And then how could you forget Austin Reaves in Minnesota, fresh off of 51 and 41? Then he hits that buzzer beater. Luka hadn't been playing, and that was kind of like Austin Reaves announcing to the world, hey, I'm one of these dudes. So we're going to give all those guys an honorable mention, but especially
none
Austin
of them make Cojones Factor. They're all off to the side.
But you got to at least give him a shout out. Austin Reaves is the primary honorable mention. Now,
can we get to 10?
The brass balls, baby. The brass balls. Okay. This is because we go brass, silver, gold here. The brass. And look, I know the Mavs have a rough record. I know they've lost a lot of clutch games, but I'm just going to tell you, Cooper Flagg's got that Cojones.
Wow. Who would have thought MacMahon would have gone Homer?
Listen, you can Homer all you want. The kid has 48 points, shooting 56% from the floor, leads the league with 20 clutch rebounds, and it gets better. 1 possession game, last 3 minutes, we call it nut cutting time. 31 points in 34 minutes, 10 rebounds. And dude, when an 18-year-old kid, they didn't win that game against Milwaukee, and nobody remembers this because it was all about the fire Nico chance and Nico getting the old heave-ho the next morning. But when he goes right at Giannis and finishes over him in a one-possession game with 30 seconds left at 18, the mustache and goatee don't even connect.
This guy has gone so soft. He's talking about losses a month ago.
He's defending it with this. He's defending it with this.
I'm just telling you, the eyeballs and the numbers tell you Cooper Flagg's got the Cojones Factor, and you gotta win more to get the, get higher up. But we'll give him the brass.
He's already getting on the list, and he hasn't won anything.
Oh, he's won some clutch games. He has. Now, the silver. Now, you guys are going to knock me on this one too. He also, if you want to go the homer angle, this is a North Texas native.
Jeez.
I'm
pretty sure I know who it's going to be. At least it should be.
Who you got?
It should be Philadelphia 76ers star Tyrese Maxey.
I considered him. We'll also put him in honorable mention. He's second in the league.
Oh, wow. Okay, now we're up to 10. Yes,
he's second in the league.
10
he's
names.
Second in the league in clutch scoring. I'll tell you that. But no, I'm going with Cade Cunningham.
Another Dallas guy.
Yeah, 44 clutch minutes. He's got a triple-double.
He's been awesome. This is very defensible.
Listen to these numbers in 44 clutch minutes. 59 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists. A
Pretty
plus
good.
23, and the Pistons are 9-3 in those games. Now,
Bontemps, how do we classify the 2 missed free throws that he had?
That's the problem. There's really 2 blemishes.
I was waiting for this.
There's 2 blemishes, and this is why I can't put him as Cojones Factor MVP. He can't get the gold balls because he missed clutch free throws in the final seconds against the Celtics and the Magic recently. So that's the blemish. But it's just a blemish.
Not enough of a blemish should not be second, though.
Well, listen, man. If you're driving a sweet ride and somebody gives you a little door ding, it's still a sweet ride. Am I wrong?
No,
this is your criterion. It changes
a lot of
from
honorable
month.
mentions. There's a lot of honorable mentions that you could have gone.
We're gonna have 27 people named for a 3-person list allegedly.
And the Cojones Factor MVP. This guy's in northern North Texas, also known as. Anybody?
Oklahoma.
I mean, this one is the reigning MVP. We could skip.
Basically, listen. Here's the deal: if you're going to have any kind of MVP award, it just goes to Shea these days, right? If it's regular season MVP, if it's conference finals MVP, if it's finals MVP, if it's Cojones Factor MVP, but they don't play a lot of clutch games, but when they do, he absolutely dominates. He leads the league with 80 clutch points in 50 minutes, and the Thunder are plus 57 in those minutes.
Wow.
Basically,
is that all?
Basically, it's like, hey, you know what? Good job, guys. You made me play into the fourth quarter, which happens less than half the time with him, by the way. Thanks for giving us a challenge. Pats the other team on the head and says, let me just knock down a few mid-range jumpers here, and, we can shake hands because you guys are going home losers. So, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, got to make some more space for that trophy case, baby.
All right. Strong work, I think.
Well, Bontemps keeps on
a robust list of
crying.
double-digit names. Double-digit names.
I'm gonna call out the buzzer beaters. Usually, there's
soon we're
going to
have half the league nominated for the Cojones Factor.
Well,
Players
one person who never will be is you. I can assure you of that.
You should just make it a team, Cojones Factor Team of the Month, and then you can have first, second, and third team, and then you can get to like 25 people, get some honorable mentions in there.
That sound you hear is Shea shoving all those trophies farther down the shelf to make room.
I'm telling you,
for the gold balls that he was just awarded. I haven't seen Western Conference Player of the Month. Actually, that would be interesting. That's probably coming out soon here.
You know what, though? Get this. This is a funny thing in a scary way. So Cason Wallace, who is not one of the several Oklahoma City players who have been on the all-defensive team, is the Western Conference Defense Player of the Month.
Right.
Deservedly so, by the way.
And Mark Daigneault is just named Western Conference Coach of the Month. Luka has had a great month, but he missed some games with injury. So I don't see how Shea's not winning Western Conference Player of the Month.
Did you give it to Jokic?
Did you see the Rookie of the Month?
Oh, Jokic. Yeah, well,
yeah, they gave it to Jokic.
Oh, they did just give it. Well, I can't complain with that. Jokic has been jaw dropping.
Jokic and Cade were the two.
Well,
the two selections.
No complaints. No complaints.
Yeah.
All
By the way, real quick
Shea will just have to accept the gold balls.
He'll have to accept that. Real quick thing on Cason Wallace. I'm very curious to see what happens with Cason Wallace over the next 18 months from a contractual standpoint, because with all these guys that the Thunder have coming up, the one thing they have to figure out that's sort of a negative if you're the Thunder is how to keep all these guys. And you look at Dyson Daniels and Christian Brown and a lot of these guys that got paid this summer at that position. Casey Wallace is going to be in line to make a lot of money. And I think that's a situation that bears watching on a variety of levels.
I will say this. How much money did they just save with Jalen Williams being
a lot.
ineligible?
Also, how much money did they save by the city of Oklahoma or by Oklahoma City, basically saying, hey.
Yeah, but this is not so much a dollar figure as it's a second apron.
I mean, they've shown in the past they're willing to pay an astronomical amount of money. I mean, that Paul George, Russell Westbrook, Carmelo Anthony team was extraordinarily expensive. You know, they're planning ahead for it, but they're also going to have to make some choices. And that's going to be an interesting choice. Like, of all those wing players, they're not going to be able to keep them all.
Right. So Lou Dort has a team option, and Cason Wallace is extension eligible after this season.
Isaiah Hartenstein has a team option also for a lot of money.
So you question Hartenstein, Lou Dort, Alex Caruso, and Cason Wallace. Are they keeping all four of those guys?
Well, Caruso already got his extension.
It doesn't mean they're going to keep him.
It seems unlikely they could afford to keep all of them.
Right. It's a great problem to have, especially when they could have 3 lottery picks.
Yeah, the league is crying.
By the way, they could have right now, as of today, they would have 2 top 10 picks plus.
Which, by the way, those contracts are kind of expensive.
Kind of big contracts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good problems to have, for sure.
Okay, last week, MacMahon, Bontemps went down to Miami. We had no idea why he went down to Miami. I'm sure he enjoyed it, but it turns out he was down there to do more than just go to a Heat game. And a story ran today with the
Mavs were hoping I was just taking over on the Mavs beat.
I know.
Sorry.
They've been hot ever since they got blessed by Bontemps.
That's true.
MacMahon, he went down there to write about a Vaquero.
Oh.
Can you tell us the story that you published today with an announcement in it, Bontemps?
Yeah, I went down to Miami to talk to Danilo Gallinari, who retired at the end of a very, very good 16-year NBA career today,
and
Tuesday.
A 1-year Puerto Rican career.
He went down to play for Carlos Arroyo's Puerto Rican team.
The Vaqueros.
Won Vaqueros de Bayamon, the best team in the history of the Puerto Rican League, which there's a lot of NBA guys playing in that league, guys who have been in the league at least. Emmanuel Mudiay, who was Gallo's rookie when he was in Denver, was the league's regular season MVP. Mavs icon Theo Pinson, currently playing in the league. Former Mavs icon JaVale McGee was on Danilo Gallinari's team. And we talked about it over the summer in the video of DeMarcus Cousins going crazy with the fans that everybody watched a million times this summer. I looked at it and was like, wait a second, is that Gallo in the background? And Danilo Gallinari was 5 feet away from him, just standing there. And I was like, what the hell is Gallo doing playing in the Puerto Rican League? And what happened was he's playing in a Sunday morning pickup run at the University of Miami. Sounded like MacMahon. I was sitting at his house talking to him.
Probably a little higher level run than I play in. But
slightly higher level with Carlos Arroyo and some high-level college players, but former college players. But he's playing in a Sunday 8 a.m. pickup run and working out, seeing if he can get back in the NBA for one final year, trying to be ready to play for the Italian national team in Eurobasket, which was what he was thinking would be the end of his career. And Arroyo goes, hey, why don't you come play in Puerto Rico? So he goes and plays in Puerto Rico, plays 35 minutes a game. They end up having a great season. They win the first championship he's ever won as a pro. And he said it was the perfect way to end his career. And I thought it was ironic that he was able to play 35 minutes a game and play the whole season healthy and never wanted a day off, Arroyo told me, because this is a guy who so much of his career is defined by injuries.
Yeah.
And it was a fun story for me to write because when I came in New York, Gallo was coming in with the Knicks right around the same time, gets drafted 6th overall. I'd actually forgot about it, but he misses almost his entire rookie year with a back injury. He gets traded in the Carmelo trade. That Denver Nuggets team, that first full year after the trade, was one of my favorite teams to watch in the last while. They had like 10, 11 guys. They're flying up and down. Gallo's their best player. They win 57 games. He blows his knee out the last week of the regular season. They end up losing to the Warriors in the first round of the playoffs. Then Andre Iguodala goes to the Warriors that summer in free agency. Things could have been a lot different. Denver wins that series, maybe goes on a deep playoff run. Who knows? And then Gallo comes to Boston 10 years later, plays right after Boston makes the finals, maybe a chance to win a title late in his career. He blows his knee out playing, I think, for the Italian national team that summer. Never even plays for the Celtics at all. So it was fun to catch up with him and talk to him. I won't get into too much else that's in the story. I think it's a fun story for people to read.
How about the fact that whole brawl that Cousins got booted from the league for, Gallo admitted he fessed up that he started it by poking the guy in the eye a couple of times.
Yes, he did do that. I was trying to say there are people reading the story. But
how about the fact that his wife, while in Puerto Rico, got bit by a shark?
Well, yeah, the ocean has healing powers unless you get bit by a shark.
That happened too. But the thing I didn't get in the story that I thought was pretty crazy in talking to him was Gallo's obviously a 6'10", sweet-shooting, really skilled offensive big guy, right? His dad played with Mike D'Antoni. They were roommates in Italy. Obviously comes from a long line of basketball from a family standpoint. What he told me, though, was amazing was when he was a kid, he played baseball left-handed. He wrote left-handed. He was fully left-handed. But when he would watch basketball games on TV, all he saw were people playing right-handed. So he said to his dad, he's like, Dad,
saw Manu.
I feel weird playing left-handed when all these guys play right-handed. So he was a left-handed person who taught himself to play right-handed. And now when he goes and plays in these pickup games, he only plays left-handed. And he actually debated getting ready to play for, especially if he went back to Puerto Rico, but even initially considered playing left-handed in this Puerto Rican league. Which
shooting threes left-handed?
Yes.
Dude, I'm telling you, Mike Conley's the same way. I'm not sure what hand Conley writes with, but there's a reason Conley's floater with his right hand is so good because I think he's right-handed. He just shoots his jumpers lefty.
It's crazy. Our buddy Jay King texted me this afternoon. He said, when I was a kid as a Celtics ball boy, I was watching Gallo earlier in his career shoot a bunch of threes left-handed. He had perfect form and he made them all. I said, well, funny story about that. It's the reason he could do that. So he was just a really fun and interesting player, good guy, long career. We've all spent time around him over the years. And it is, he probably could have had a much higher level career in terms of star power if he hadn't gotten hurt, but still played 14 full seasons and had a lot of success and just had a great career.
$200 million.
That's not a bad
$200 million too. Yes, not bad at all.
And went out with a championship. What else could you ask for?
Yeah.
Muy bien.
Hey, tune in tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern across the ESPN networks and platforms for a special opportunity to see Jim Valvano's Don't Ever Give Up speech. His message is as relevant today as it was 30 years ago. And if you can support Jimmy V's goal of achieving victory over cancer by visiting v.org/donate, 100% of your donations go directly to cancer research. Always a tremendous thing to see.
Yeah. Cancer has been on my mind a lot the last few weeks. One of my mentors at the New York Post, Larry Brooks, passed away. Probably pretty widely considered one of the best, if not the best, hockey writers maybe ever, certainly here in New York, and I would say among the best, at least in the United States. And he was a guy who gave me a huge boost at the start of my career, specifically pushed for me to back him up on the Rangers beat, was a huge mentor and a real person who backed me a lot, and a lot of other people at the Post over the years, and was never afraid to go at people and share his opinion about stuff. There's people see the videos of, if you've heard Larry's name, it's probably because you saw the videos of him going back and forth with John Tortorella, pretty famously in press conferences. But he gave Henrik Lundqvist the nickname King Henrik in New York. He was a tremendous writer, great reporter. His notebooks every week were always full of league breaking news. Had no problem going at people if he thought the league was doing stuff they shouldn't to players or vice versa. He was just a giant at the Post, giant in New York City, and a very important person to me. So obviously the Jimmy V Foundation's done a ton of incredible work in the cancer field over the years. And every year Dick Vitale raises money and raises just an unfathomable amount of money for cancer. So hopefully people can help out and support the cause.
All right. Thank you for that, Mr. Bontemps. Salute to you, Mr. Brooks. I guess a salute to you, Mr. MacMahon. Thank you to Jackson, our producer. Thank you for watching and listening to the Hoop Collective. We'll be talking to you later this week.
Adios, amigos.